Something new. Stop, drop, shut them down, open up shop. Oh, no.
What's going on, guys? Marcus here, back in the shop, and I know it's been a little minute since I dropped an album review. I've been giving you guys my podcast and stuff like that because I've been really busy, so I'm glad I got that, so I'll at least give you some content during the week. I didn't drop this album review this weekend because it took me a minute to really give you a feeling on what I really think about this album, because I didn't really understand it the first few times I listened to it. Like, I had to give it a good few spins. So with that being said, we are talking about A$AP Ferg's new album, Always Strive and Prosper. Probably should have said that in the beginning. But either way, like I said, it took me a minute to actually come up with an opinion on the album, because I was definitely having some mixed reviews the first few spins, and I didn't want to just listen to it one time and then give you my review, because if that was the case, I would probably give it a negative review. Because I'm not gonna lie, the first time I was listening to it, I was actually at my desk right here doing an online final, and I was working on some videos for the radio station, and I just wasn't really fucking with it like that. I'm not sure if it was because I was starting to get frustrated with my homework and all this other stuff that was piling up. It might have been a mixture of that. But after listening to it a good 2 or 3 times, I was like, no, part of it is the album. And part of it was me, just because of how I was feeling. But the other part is just because this album is not as good as I wanted it to be. Yeah, man, I wasn't really feeling this album like that. Like, it's not as good as Trap Lord. Like, Trap Lord to me was just dope as fuck. Like, that was such a classic album for that time. So let me get into this album right now. Of course, like I said, I did not love it. Had to give it a few spins, so I'm actually looking at my notes right now. There's about 18 songs in here with about a good 5 or 6 skits, I believe. Like, there's hella skits. Let me double check to be sure. Yeah, about 4 or 5 skits, so, and there's really only about, so that's about 18 songs, about 4 skits, and there's only about a good 5 or 6 songs that I really like. That's not a good thing, really. Like, I'm not saying all the other songs were like trash, but they just definitely didn't appeal to me like that. So let's get started on there. Like, the first song, Rebirth, I was like, okay, so Ferg is going somewhere else with this. Like, and I'm cool with that, because if you listen to Trap Lord, you know that A$AP Ferg is definitely very different from Rocky. Like, they have 2 different styles, they're in 2 different lanes. His instrumentals are very Houston sound, like, we all know that. You know, it's got the whole chopped and screwed mix to it, whereas Ferg, I can't even call it New York music, man. I mean, I know these guys are from Harlem, but it doesn't have the East Coast sound. It just has that weird sound that I can say that Ferg has his own lane. According to, like, he's got his own lane of sound, so I think that's dope as fuck for Ferg. But for the first song, I don't know how I feel about it. Like, Rebirth was kind of weird to me, but I'm sure if I give it a few more spins, it may grow on me. But I think it's cool as an intro, but definitely not the best song out there as far as the album goes. The second song, Hungry Ham, kind of the same thing. Really don't know what to say about that song. It was just another weird song, but that's just Ferg style. Now, this is really where I got into, like, this whole debate where I wasn't going to be sure if I was going to like this album or not, because the first 2 songs are already questionable, whereas the third song, Strive, which featured Missy Elliott, and I'm not a big EDM head like that. Like, I know EDM was really big a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I know they still throw these big raves and stuff. I still see them on my Facebook and my Instagram, people talking about it, but I don't see people talking about it as much as they used to a couple years ago. So I feel like maybe this song may have been a little, I guess it like missed its time. Maybe it'd have been a lot more hot if it came out last year, the year before. But personally, again, I'm just not a big EDM head, so I wasn't really rocking to it like that. But I do like the content. I will say that about this album is that Ferg definitely has a lot of content. He definitely talks about social awareness. Like, he has a song with Chuck D, for God's sakes, you know what I mean? Like, who's out more socially aware and conscious than Chuck D? He's talked about his uncle previously, so I knew eventually he was going to make a song or a few songs where he brings up his uncle. I think he brought him up in Trap Lords, and I've definitely seen him bring him up during interviews. I'm not sure if it's the same uncle, because he's if you know Ferg, he talked about being related to one of the guys that worked with Diddy during the Bad Boy generation, like when Bad Boy was starting to become really big with Biggie Smalls. He had an uncle that worked with them. I'm not sure if this is the same uncle, but he had an uncle named Psycho. His name is self-explanatory. It was really heavy in the streets and shit, so he has that song. I guess he just talks about how he was and how he influenced him and how he kind of looked up to him, and then it kind of blends into that one song, Let It Bang, with Schoolboy Q, who I think is dope as fuck. Like, I think Schoolboy Q, to me, is like an unofficial member of ASAP Mob. Kind of like how Redman is an unofficial member of Wu-Tang Clan. That's kind of how I see Schoolboy Q, because he's just dope as shit to me. Like, he definitely has that ASAP feeling. Like, he's just raw and gritty. If you see the video, you'll see Ferg walking around with the Wu wear jacket, and then you see ODB's son doing all that Kung Fu crane shit. I thought it was cool as shit, but then we see Schoolboy Q rocking the ski mask or the, what was it, a wave cap? And it brought me back to the early 90s Wu-Tang feeling, like that Enter the 36 Chambers where they had the swords and everyone had like ski masks and wave caps put over the head. So I thought it was dope as shit. And then, of course, Q kills it. I like how Ferg his whole verse was talking about how crazy his uncle was, and then it blends into Schoolboy Q where he's talking about how his uncle was a crackhead, and then he talks about all this crazy shit being in the streets, but he flips on you, says, but I'm not talking about my uncle, I'm talking about me. I want to see Schoolboy Q actually do a collaboration project with these guys too. I think that would be dope as hell. Like, that would be lit if they actually came out with a mixtape or an album and he just called himself like ASAP Q, like he did in ASAP Rocky's first album. Kind of like how in Wu-Tang Clan, where they all had their own aliases when they were on the Only Built for Cuban Links. I think that would be dope as shit. As far as the rest of the album, to be honest with you, to me it's like below average. Like, I know his one song he's got with Future, that's his single. I thought it was dope as fuck when it came out, but I work at a radio station, I've heard this song like a million times now. So when it got to me listening to this album as a whole, I didn't have that same feeling because I listened to this song like every day already. So it didn't, like that, I guess that magic of listening to a song for the first time was gone. It was out of here. The one song he's got with Rick Ross, not bad. I do like the one song he's got with, called Yammy Gang, which I guess you could say is a tribute to ASAP Yams, again, rest in peace, where he's got the whole ASAP mob on there. He's got Rocky. I keep forgetting that guy's name. I'm gonna put his name in the bottom, dude with the missing tooth. He's a dope ass lyricist, but these guys kill it. So I do like that one song. That's part of the 5 or 6 songs I said is dope as shit. But the rest is just okay to me. Like, I can see why people may think that the rest of the album is kind of corny. Like Grandma, I know that's a tribute to his grandmother. So I hate to say it's kind of corny, but I wasn't really feeling the song like that. The one song he's got with Chris Brown and Big Sean. If y'all know me, I don't know if I said this on camera before, but I think Big Sean is a corny individual anyways. I'm not saying he can't rap. I just think some of his raps and some of his music is just corny to me. So that's what it is right there. I love Ferg. I love the mob. I'm just more disappointed. So I really just can't trash them like that. So I would just say, just give it a few streams and download these few songs that I mentioned earlier. Like, if you love the album, by all means, I want you to like it. It just wasn't for me. So I'm gonna say just give it a few streams, but it's definitely not a 3. I would say at least a 2.5 at best, because I'm a little disappointed. It's not as good as Trap Lords, but it's definitely not a whack ass album. I'm rooting for these guys regardless. So if you love the album, I'm glad you do. Again, I just don't love it. But that's my opinion. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. So don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Now here's a message to my subscribers. So if you just checked the video just specifically for the album review, I guess the video is done, so I'll catch y'all later if you don't want to subscribe. I mean, it is what it is. But this is specifically towards my subscribers. You guys see that I passed 600 subscribers now, so I think that's dope as fuck. So what up, y'all? Welcome to the shop. And I'm actually getting close to that 1 year period, which I think is cool as ever. Like, I didn't know how long I was gonna do this YouTube shit, and I really want to keep doing this. Like, I have fun doing this every week. You guys see that I brought the podcast segment, and unfortunately I can't meet up with these guys every week because we all have different schedules. So the last one, I didn't even meet up with the original crew. I met up with actually one of my best friends who's leaving with the afro, and his boy who's another comedian. They weren't even part of the podcast like that. I just brought them in because they thought it was cool. Shout out to some of my subscribers out there. I was actually thinking about making my podcast, actually forming it into that 1 hour segment and putting it on to SoundCloud, so you guys can actually check out the full hour podcast rather than these just like 9 to 15 minute clips, because people have been asking me about that. They want to hear the whole thing. So let me know what y'all think about it. I don't want to just do album reviews. I want to keep it hip-hop related, but I also want to branch out to different things. So I've had people actually tell me that too, they want to see more stuff from this channel. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section. What do you guys want to see? Are you guys interested in the podcast where you would actually listen to it for like an hour? Like, should I just put it on SoundCloud rather than these clips? Because I didn't do that at first because I didn't think anybody was going to listen to it like that, but according to the comments, I'm getting good positive views and comments. So I'm really excited about that. And I actually do want to shout out a few subscribers. If I mispronounce your name, I apologize. Of course, I want to shout out TGR, man, the Great Ranger. This dude is dope as fuck. He's always watching my shit. He has his own channel too. He has more subscribers than me, but his shit is dope too. He actually has a lot of the albums that I may say is whack or is good. He may actually feel the opposite, and we're still cool. Like, that's dope as shit how you can still agree to disagree on certain albums and opinions and everything. And you don't have to be a hater because you don't like something, or a dick rider because you do. Like, fuck out of here with that. So definitely shouts out to you. Shouts out to Sean or Jakor. I mean, this guy's always showing me love on my podcast. He was definitely one of the guys who was telling me that he wants to see the 4-hour podcast rather than just like the clips that I've been putting out. So I think I will do that. So shouts out to you, man. Thanks for the support. Of course, shout out to Cassandra Ortiz. Like, you've definitely been showing me love in the past few videos, past few months. She asked me to do the Rihanna album review that I did with my girlfriend back, I think it was back in February, so shouts out to you. Shouts out to Anthology Life 14. This guy definitely always shows me some good feedback. I actually talked to him off YouTube. I talked to him on Instagram and shit like that. So yeah, you can hit me up on there too, man. Like, we can talk on Twitter, on Instagram. And shout out to Wise the Dome. These guys, man, these guys are just names that I constantly see in my comment section. Of course, there's other guys out there that I can't go back and name everybody, like, but shouts out to all of y'all. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. I definitely can't wait to see what I do for the summer. I'm sure I might change something up, but of course, let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Again, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and that's it. I'll catch y'all later.